What's going on, guys? How we doing this afternoon? Thought I'd bring on actually probably one of my first ever clients, Joel. Like
I think
I
so.
I can't even remember the clients that we would have been working with at the time that we started working together. That's how long it's been. So, only a very few have actually made it this long. And obviously some have come back and left to come back, but you've actually been the most consistent, pal. One, just want to say thank you for your business, but also your friendship. But wanted to have you on, dude, and um ultimately just talk about your guys' success with the program. So I know you have a bunch of agents on our program, and get your guys' experience thus far, just as a team lead side of things too, because you're managing a pretty decent team now, and it seems like they're all writing, which is ideally what everybody else wants.
Yeah.
What has the syndicate been able to do for you and your team? I'll leave it up there. Or
Yeah.
actually, before we
No, I
do
think
that,
it's
give us a little history of who you are and where you came from. I'm gonna ask.
yeah, no, absolutely. So my name is Joel Whitcomb. I'm the principal owner of Springdale Benefits Group. We're an independent life insurance brokerage out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Um, got into the insurance industry actually back in 2007. Started working probably a little different than than most did. Started in the kind of premium finance space. Jumped right into it, working with kind of higher net worth individuals, and migrated over to more of the traditional side. Your kind of final expense mortgage protection. A couple of years after that, so. My group, Springdale Benefits Group, we've been set up and incorporated since 2021. We have now going on just over 50 actively producing agents who are writing really just the spectrum of products. So, one of the biggest things that I found to be probably holding back agents from success is like a constant source of leads and the ability to have conversations. And the endless leads program that we're working with, it really, it hits the points there that you're looking for, right? So instead of having to sit on your phone and do your outbound dials and just sit there endlessly listening to the phone ringing, right? You're having conversations, you're getting the reps in, you're handling the objections. So whether you're a newer agent or even a more experienced agent, it's really just, it gives you the ability to have those reps, get the reps in, and just have quality conversations. So that's been the biggest, I think, differentiator versus any other lead source that we've looked at.
So we've had the chance to, I personally have had the chance to sit down with a lot of your team members individually, and I know that they've spent a lot of times with our coaches as well, and just being a part of the community. They're all probably staples within the community at this point, but ultimately, what has that done for the team, the training support aspect?
Well, I think yeah, no, I mean, look, the training support piece, I think, is really is hugely valuable, right? So you, as a leader of an organization, right, you only have so many hours of the day. You want to make yourself available to all of your team, but the reality is you're managing the program, you're managing your own book of business. You only have so much time that you can make yourself available. So having the team and really we have our kind of setup within the Unreal community, the ability to ask questions of the community. Hey, I have an underwriting question with these specific, types of ailments, or I've got a client that's looking for this type of policy, like who can help? And we have, people chiming in from a number of different agencies, whether it's team members or even from other groups, and they're all, communicating and helping out to really help, the individual agent hit their goals as well. And I think that's hugely valuable. I've never seen that in any other group, right? I think they try to keep it like within a silo, right? You don't want to talk to these other agencies. You might lose your agent to get recruited elsewhere. And it's not really the case here, right? everyone has the same goal. We want to help each other succeed. We're not competing against each other. So, which I think is really unique, and just a great opportunity for agents to get that support.
And I think ultimately the community itself wasn't really a planned thing from us. We ultimately were like, we'll all get better if this client's doing good and this client's doing crap. How do I link the two of them together so that they can help one can help each other and inevitably give back? And then it was like, is it doing us a disservice by keeping our clients separated and not have the ability to communicate with one another? Or I think every lead vendor has this little bit of scare. They're like, if they all start talking, like something's gonna happen, or the picket fences might come out, but ultimately it's done the quite opposite for us. It's helped us where our team couldn't support, our community has been able to hold the torch in those regards. And the recruiting aspect, like people being scared of recruiting, it's ultimately there's no real talk about carriers, right? We're really just talking about issues that they're experiencing on the call. How did they fix it? Does anybody have a quick solution to this health problem, etc.? Anybody know someone that'll accept it? Or it's like a sales issue or a common objection. And just being able to hear everybody else how they do it really helps you ramp it up, because every marketing is going to be different depending on what lead vendor you go to, right? And every process, I know for a fact, we've struggled with multiple of your own agents as well as yourself on certain processes that align with our messaging, and it takes a little bit for agents to get used to. What do you think that the most common struggle for some of your agents taking our program has been, and how do you think they've overcome it?
So I think the biggest struggle for not only my agents, but really any agent that has not seen the level of success that they're looking for has been, we have, I think, scripts that have been put together over hours and hours and hours of feedback and, in field use to make sure that this is honed in the absolute perfect way to be able to convert these conversations into ultimately sales, right? And I think the agents that are willing to be coachable, have a positive attitude, are willing to hear feedback on their calls and address the issues that the coaches are bringing up and make the changes that we're recommending. Those are the agents that are seeing success and that are thriving in this program, right? I think the ones that they try the script and maybe one or two conversations don't go well, and they're like, you know what? I'm going to try to do this myself. I'm going to use all the other things I've done in the past. And it's just not going to work. Like, you can make the script your own, and you can, you can make little subtle changes here and there. But ultimately, the ones that are following exactly what we're telling them to do, those are the ones that are seeing success. And I think that's the biggest, that's the biggest deciding factor is, are you willing to stick to the script for the first couple of weeks? And it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel awkward. But ultimately, we all have the same goal, right? We want to see you be successful. We're not going to steer you in the wrong direction. Follow the script, follow the steps. And this is ultimately the path to success. The ones that do that are the ones that set themselves apart, and they're seeing the success. And the ones that aren't, they may not see that same level. So,
yeah. You have a fellow that just started with you. He just started doing Endless with us. He now wrote I think 10 grand in his first week on outbound, right? Yes. He's taken our transfers before, just started on outbound. He's like, this is insane. What type of results have you guys seen as a team yourself?
I mean, I know on the outbound, the ones that are, again, they're sitting down, they're taking calls throughout the day. They're consistently working to improve. They're writing 2, 3, 4, 5 applications a day with the Endless program. So, in terms of AP production, you're looking at anywhere 10, 15, even 20 grand in a week worth of production just with the outbound program, because again, you're having those consistent conversations, and those will ultimately, again, follow the script. It's going to turn into sales. So we're seeing tremendous success with it so far.
I appreciate you coming on, man. Now give me the ugly. Who is this not for? What could you expect? What is the shit of Unreal? You've talked yourself, you flattered what you have said thus far, but it's not all daisies and dandelions.
Yeah. I mean, we've worked together now for almost 2 years now, I want to say, maybe a little longer than that. And I think where agents struggle is, especially on the outbound, if you're not willing to put in the time commitment, that's where you're going to see some struggle, right? You want to take calls for an hour and then go take a 3-hour lunch break and then come back and do, take a couple more calls, and you're not really like getting the reps in. This probably isn't for you. If you're not willing to be coachable, as I mentioned before, also probably not for you. If you have one carrier you can write with, it's going to be challenging to be able to fit all the different needs in with one specific carrier. You kind of have to have multiple carriers to be able to match the needs of whoever it is you're talking to on the other side. Somebody may only want or need 15,000 of coverage, and they have a specific budget they have to keep it within. So you need to be able to have a carrier that can kind of fit that criteria. And, oh, by the way, they've got, this number of health concerns. You're going to need to have some flexibility there. Or you could be talking to someone that they're running a business and, they have a need for either a key man policy or some sort of, additional retirement source they're looking for. You kind of have to be able to pivot to that as well. So if you only have final expense carriers, it could be challenging for you as well. So not having the right kind of mix of carriers, I think, can be a bit of a challenge as well.
And inevitably something that you didn't add that I just need to add for full disclosure is you need to be able to, get told to screw off, because it's inevitably
yes.
Not everybody program is going to be somebody that's interested in talking. There's thousands of leads being generated a day. It's hard for everybody to be wanting to talk about life insurance, and ultimately nobody wants to talk about life insurance. So if you can take somebody that doesn't want to talk to you and have them speak to you and bring them through a process and also put them in a good position, then ultimately this could be for you. But if you just want somebody that's like ready to talk right now, maybe live transfers, but ultimately you're not even going to get that. Just, find me that lead, because I'll buy every one.
Yeah, I think that's really important. We as insurance professionals, we're not order takers. And anybody coming into that with that expectation that, like, I'm going to have somebody on the phone, and this is any lead vendor in general, right? I think you'd agree too. Like, it doesn't matter what the lead is. You're never going to find a lead source that 100% of the people you're talking to are, I'm sitting here, I got my checkbook out, I got my list of medications, I am ready to rock and roll, I want to buy me some insurance, right? It just isn't going to happen. So there is some finessing and, a sales component to this. Whether you want to believe it or not, like, this is a sales job, right? So you got to be able to take the good and the wins with the downside, which is you're going to hear no. And if you're not hearing no, you're probably not having enough conversations, or you're not getting in front of enough people at all. So if you're one of the people that say, oh yeah, I'm closing 90% of the business or 90% of the appointments that I'm sitting with, you're probably not taking enough appointments ultimately. Yeah. So because anyone with that type of close rate, you should be meeting with more people. So that's what I'm finding.
Sure. And then if you could give like one piece of advice to anybody that was thinking about starting or has recently just started, what would that be? Or even a team member, a team lead that's looking in and saying, oh, hey, I don't know if I want to bring my team into that type of situation. What type of advice could you give to that person?
I would say, to be like perfectly honest, whether it's this lead program or any lead program, like it's not like a lifeline. If this is like your last thing that you're like, this is gonna like set me off of the to to the successful career, but I've got like a week to commit to this. Probably don't do this, or any lead program in general. Like you have to be able to commit 3, 6, 9 weeks to a program to determine if it's going to work for you, right? You might have a week where it's just a bad week. Everybody gets it. Doesn't matter. I've been doing this for 17 years now. I have bad weeks. You may have a bad day, you may have a bad week, but you'll never have a bad month. And so, especially when you're starting out, you have to be able to give yourself a window to see some failure and to be able to correct and make the appropriate changes so you start seeing those successes to determine if it's a viable source for you or not. So if you're not willing to give yourself that window, probably don't get started, because it's going to be frustrating for you as an agent, and probably frustrating for the team as well. And I'm sure for you, because you don't want someone to start and then like immediately stop the program, right?
Yeah.
The idea is to continue working with you. So, and for them to keep seeing success, right? So that would be like the number one thing I think to, for somebody that's looking to get started. So give yourself some leeway.
I appreciate you jumping on, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited for many more years of our relationship and different avenues that we can continue to grow and work together. But ultimately, appreciate the impact you've created in our community yourself, as well as some of your team members too. So appreciate you, dude.
Absolutely.
If I could hug you right now, I'd give you a hug.
Awesome. So
Awesome,
yeah, appreciate. Thanks for bringing me on, and hopefully look to see anyone that's tuning in and watching this to be part of the community. So
thanks, man.